One of David Fincher's most underrated films, and one of the most underrated films the last 20 years, is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It underperformed in the theaters 2011. I think it was because it's based on Swedish books by Stig Larsson, and those books were made into Swedish films, 3 Swedish films. And the first film, Swedish film, was remade in America. But usually American remakes are pretty bad. But in this case, it's David fucking Fincher who did it. And I think people were like, well, we've seen this already. And people were tired of the American remake and all that, so they didn't watch it. The fucking terrible thing about it is that David Fincher signed a contract where he was gonna make a series of films with Daniel Craig and Rooney Mara. He was going to make a film version of book 2, book 3, book 4, but that didn't happen because it underperformed. When you see the film, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the American one, you see that he has cast sort of well-known actors, small roles, because they were going to show up later. But, you know, there was never another film. And the Swedish film is okay. It's all okay, done with an okay director, with a, you know, not a huge budget, I'll give him that. But the second and the third movie I thought was but it's been a while since I've seen them. Anyway, if you take the Swedish version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo back to back with the American version by Fincher, you can see like this. It's quite interesting if you're a fan of movies and how you make them, because of course the American one has a large budget, but you can see how he works with cameras. David Fincher zooms in and he cuts, and how good he is at making tension. Like there's a scene in the Swedish version where they talk about these flowers that have been sent by the killer. The killer has sent the flowers, or kidnapper or whatever sent the flowers, and he talks to the Daniel Craig character in the Swedish version too. In the Swedish version, he talks. The old man talks to him. He's gonna hire him, right? That ikesant, that's a word, Norwegian word. But yeah, but they just cut directly to the flowers. There's no tension. Immediately they go in, and you see the fucking flowers. But Fincher does it. He builds up a mysterium. Like there's talking. What are they talking about? What is this thing? What is this thing? And then you see the pictures of the fucking flowers. It's just building tension all the time. If I describe that poorly, you know, that's too bad. And the score, and the score, and the score. My paintings, I'm a painter. I've listened to Atticus Finch and Trent Reznor and Atticus Finch score so many times. Social Network is fantastic and one of my favorite movies of all time. And the score for the Social Network is a great work. Well, if you're a painter, if you're a writer, I don't know if you're a writer, if that's disturbing, or you know, if you should have silence, I don't know. But for me as a painter, it's fucking awesome. And The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo score is equally great. And I gotta say this. I'm so sorry. Okay. 7 is tailor-made for me. You know, it's serial killers. It has detectives. It's a misanthropic film. It's a nihilistic film. And I've seen it like 6 or 7 times. But the reason I've seen it 6 or 7 times is because I don't like it. And I feel like it's tailor-made for me. So every time I watch it, I'm like, why don't I like this? Why do I think it's boring? And I try. Okay, it's been 2 years since last. Maybe I like it more this time. Nope. So I suspect maybe Howard Shore, the composer for Lord of the Rings films, except for those films, Howard Shore is not that great. And his score is the film 7 is dark as fuck and nihilistic as fuck. It's raining all the time. It's slow, and the score makes it even slower. It's a slow-paced film, but it makes it even slower. Well, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Trent Reznor and Atticus Finch, the score is so much more complicated and interesting and goes places. And, yeah. This painting, I listened to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo soundtrack or score in the background, and it's 3 discs, 3 CDs, I believe, and I listened to all of them. It's heavily inspired by David Fincher. And the Scandinavian winter is, well, I live here in Norway, and that film is from Sweden and filmed in Sweden. And sometimes you need an outsider, I guess. David Fincher is American, but he really captured the Scandinavian winter, I feel. With camera angles zooming in, like, and because he uses CGI, you know, he used CGI so because there are several scenes where it wasn't any snow on the ground, but he CGI'd it on, and he also CGI'd snow. You know what, the film seems really cold, and also in the scene, there's a scene in fucking Social Network, where Mark Zuckerberg talks to Andrew Garfield. And when they talk, David Fincher has CGI'd like this. I don't remember what you call it, but right? He CGI'd that. Because that is something that bothers the fuck out of me as a Scandinavian, is when, especially Christmas films, bad Christmas films, it's snow and it's supposed to be cold, but there's nothing coming out of their mouth. You know, dog, as we say in Norway. What the fuck is it called? I don't know, it doesn't matter. And the movie doesn't follow a third act structure. There's a good essay, really good video essay, where they talk about him or whatever, talk about that the film has 6 acts. And David Fincher did the same with, he didn't have a third act in, or a first or second act in Zodiac either. David Fincher likes to experience with things like that. And you have Rooney Mara versus Naomi Repis, the Swedish one. And everybody says the Swedish one, or some people says that the Swedish version of her is better. That she was more aggressive in a way, or punk-like. She has this black lipstick on, and she has she's kind of looks more punk-like, I guess. But Rooney Mara's version, I think she looks like a wounded animal. She looks like she works very much more with her body than just acting in the face. Like, there's much more to it, I feel, than in the Swedish version. And Daniel Craig does a fine job. Not that it's a revolutionary thing he does, but he works. He's good, well casted. And in the Swedish version, you have, spoilers, Stellan Skarsgård is the bad guy, right? But in the Swedish version, the interesting thing about that is the one guy who plays the bad guy is played by a Swedish actor who stars in a famous detective, Beck, I think it's called, in Sweden, where he's the hero. So I kind of like Henry Fonda in Once Upon a Time in the West. Like, he was always casted as the protagonist, the good guy, the moral center, and he plays like a dirty, he plays like an ambitious gunslinger that wants to earn money and kills children. And I guess it's sort of casting like that, which is sort of interesting, I guess. But I prefer the American one like 3 times over. It's you know how David Fincher cuts things, right, to the Trent Reznor, Atticus Finch score, and he builds tension. It's like, it's a long movie, but it feels like 5 minutes. And this is not a deep analyzing of the film. It's not an essay or something. It's just me talking about a film I like, I love, and I feel there's, if you want to, there's, right, on YouTube, right, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, or something will show up. There's a guy who is a script guy, I don't remember what he's called. I do no research, that's the point, I'm just talking, right? But he takes a really interesting approach and talks about the third act structure and how Fincher doesn't do that at all. And there's also a video of a guy that compares the Swedish one with the American one. And that is, if you like films, you should see that. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I'm done now. I think I'm done. I like the film. I love the film. And give it a go.